Deep beneath the heart of Vatican City lies a labyrinth of silence. Behind walls older than most nations, under the seal of the world's most enduring power, sits a vault of secrets, the Vatican Secret Archives. Some say it holds the history of the world, rewritten. Others whisper it hides the truth about God, humanity, and everything we were never meant to know. Whatever lies beyond those doors, one thing is certain: access is forbidden. For centuries, popes, kings, and conquerors have walked these marble halls, yet none have glimpsed what lies within. Millions of pages, thousands of years, stored in temperature, controlled rooms, protected by Swiss guards and God's supposed authority. To enter is to trespass upon sacred ground. To read is to risk damnation or revelation. But what exactly is the Vatican Secret Archives? What could possibly be so dangerous that the Church, the same institution that once burned heretics for reading the wrong texts, now locks away its own? The story begins not with conspiracy, but with power, real, divine, earthly power. The archives were born in 1612 under Pope Paul V, a man obsessed with order and secrecy. He gathered the scattered papal records, letters, decrees, state papers, and sealed them away. This wasn't just about preservation. It was about control. Knowledge, after all, is the purest form of power. And in an age where the Church ruled souls and kingdoms alike, such power could not be left in open hands. For centuries, it remained hidden, a private collection of popes, guarded by Latin inscriptions and centuries of bureaucracy. Even scholars of faith were denied entry. The archives became legend. Whispers spread forbidden texts, lost gospels, secret trials, the correspondence between popes and tyrants, and even proof of the divine. But in 1881, under Pope Leo XII, the Church opened a narrow door, just enough for historians to peer in, but never enough to see it all. Access was granted to select researchers, but only to specific documents, only for limited times. No photographs, no casual browsing. Every page is requested, approved, and supervised. To this day, even with modern reforms, the mystery persists. And here lies the first contradiction. They call it the Vatican Apostolic Archive now, the word secret, removed in 2019, supposedly to correct a mistranslation. But make no mistake, secretum in Latin doesn't mean mysterious. It means private. Yet, in the Vatican, the line between private and forbidden has always been thin. What treasures, or horrors, might lie within? Let's peer into the shadows. Among the documents known to exist are the correspondences of Henry V, as he begged the Pope to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. There's Galileo's trial transcript, the moment science was forced to kneel before theology. There are papal bulls that reshaped continents, the edicts that divided the New World between Spain and Portugal, and letters from Michelangelo pleading for payment for St. Peter's Basilica. But these are the known contents, the respectable history. What about what's not listed? Some claim the archives contain lost books of the Bible, Gospels that never saw the light of day, hidden for contradicting official doctrine. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, rumored to depict her not as a follower, but as Christ's equal. The Gospel of Judas, which paints the betrayer not as villain, but as chosen instrument. If true, these texts could unravel centuries of belief. Others speak of the Chronovisor, a mythical device supposedly built by a Benedictine monk in the 1950s with Vatican backing. A machine that could record visions of the past, showing the crucifixion of Christ or the signing of the Magna Carta. The Vatican, of course, denies it exists, but stories persist, whispered among ex-priests and conspiracy theorists alike, that the Church has not only preserved history, it has witnessed it. Then there are darker tales still. Documents about the Inquisition's hidden victims, secret dealings with Nazi Germany, letters between the papacy and Mussolini, even files said to detail exorcisms, miracles, and demonic possessions investigated and sealed by papal decree. If half of it is true, the archives don't just contain the story of the Church. They contain the story of mankind, every secret sin, every suppressed truth, written in ink and sealed by faith. But here's the paradox. The deeper you look, the less you see. The Vatican doesn't destroy its past, it buries it. It locks it away not in flames, but in silence. When researchers request documents, entire sections of history remain unavailable, marked simply as restricted.
Why?
Because of state interests or papal privacy. But what privacy could survive 400 years of dust and prayer? Perhaps the truth is simpler and more dangerous. The archives are not just a vault of forbidden knowledge. They are a mirror, reflecting everything the Church wishes to remember and everything it hopes the world forgets. Because in the end, secrets don't rot. They wait. They wait in silence, stacked in endless corridors stretching for miles beneath the city of Rome. Over 85 kilometers of shelving, filled with letters, decrees, treaties, maps, and manuscripts, each a fragment of history locked away from the public eye. Some say even the air feels different there, heavy with the weight of centuries. Those who have entered describe it as stepping out of time itself. There is no sound, but the faint hum of climate machines preserving the past, and the slow turning of pages written by the hands of saints, emperors, and sinners alike. It's said the archives hold the correspondence between Pope Pius XI and Adolf Hitler, letters that might reveal what the Church truly knew during the Holocaust, and what it chose not to say. For decades, historians begged for access. Only in recent years has the Vatican cautiously opened that chapter. But even then, entire boxes remain sealed. Why? The Church insists it's for preservation or confidentiality. Others suspect it's to shield itself from what those pages reveal: moral compromise, silence in the face of evil, or complicity cloaked as diplomacy. Then there's the file said to document the trial of the Knights Templar, when Pope Clement V dissolved the order in 1312 under pressure from King Philip V of France. Thousands of knights were tortured and executed. Their crime, heresy. But centuries later, a document was discovered in the archives, the Chinon parchment, revealing that the Pope had secretly absolved them of heresy. The Church had known they were innocent all along, yet let them burn. That single document, hidden for 700 years, changed everything historians thought they knew. And that's just one file. Imagine what remains unseen. The archives are a time capsule of human ambition, betrayal, and divine justification. Inside lies the correspondence that shaped empires, the letters of Columbus reporting the New World to Pope Alexander VI, the papal bulls that divided the earth between nations, and decrees that determined which souls were worthy of salvation. Some scholars believe the archives contain documents on extraterrestrial phenomena, suppressed accounts from early church astronomers, even reports from priests claiming to have witnessed celestial visitors. The Vatican owns the world's oldest astronomical observatory, after all. What if faith and science were never enemies, but uneasy partners guarding the same cosmic truth? The Church denies these rumors, but the silence itself fuels curiosity. Silence is power, and the Vatican has mastered it for over 1,000 years. There's also talk of letters exchanged with world leaders, Napoleon, Stalin, even modern presidents, diplomatic archives that might reveal backroom deals, hidden alliances, or interventions in world affairs. The Vatican isn't just a religious state, it's the oldest continuous intelligence network on earth. Its nuncios, cardinals, and bishops have served as informants for centuries, carrying whispers from every kingdom to the throne of St. Peter. Some believe those whispers are still filed, neatly labeled, and waiting in the dark. But beyond the political and the theological lies something deeper, the spiritual unknown. The archives are rumored to contain detailed reports of exorcisms, cases so disturbing that they were classified immediately. eyewitness testimonies from priests who claim to see things not of this world, relics allegedly linked to possession and demonic manifestation, even handwritten confessions from the possessed, bound in leather and stored in sealed boxes marked prohibitus. The Vatican neither confirms nor denies this, and perhaps it never will, because faith thrives on mystery, and mystery breeds devotion. And maybe that's the point. The more we question, the more their silence becomes divine, yet not all who have sought the truth have come away unscathed. There are stories of scholars who spent years petitioning for access, only to be denied without reason. Others who entered with permission, studied certain texts, and left the church altogether, shaken by what they read. One historian described it as feeling the weight of forbidden knowledge pressing on your soul. Some even suggest the archives are not entirely of this world, that there are rooms sealed not by locks, but by rituals, ancient blessings meant to protect or to contain. Because if you believe in the sacred, you must also believe in the profane. And if the church guards heaven's secrets, it must also guard the gates of hell. The deeper you go, the less certain anything becomes, and maybe that's intentional. The Vatican doesn't just keep history, it curates it, edits it, sanctifies what fits its narrative and silences what does not. History, after all, is written by those who can afford to preserve it. Every page locked behind those walls represents a decision, what the world was allowed to remember, and what it was forced to forget. There are rumors of those who tried to breach the archives without permission, spies, journalists, even priests. None succeeded. The Vatican's security isn't just physical, it's bureaucratic, spiritual, psychological. You don't break into the archives, you're erased by their silence. To the Church, the greatest sin isn't disbelief, it's revelation. Imagine the magnitude of what might still be hidden there, papal letters that contradict Scripture, evidence of political manipulation across centuries, or proof that our version of history has been meticulously rewritten under divine authority. If the archives were ever fully opened, they could change the world. But that's precisely why they never will be. The Vatican's mission has always been to guard faith, not history. Because faith is fragile, it depends not on proof, but on mystery. The archives are the embodiment of that paradox. They preserve truth by concealing it. They protect the Church by burying its wounds. And perhaps they protect humanity from truths we aren't ready to face. There's an old saying whispered among the Vatican's scholars: those who seek the truth within these walls must be prepared to lose their faith. Maybe that's why so few are allowed inside. Not because the Church fears exposure, but because it fears what revelation would do to the soul. Think of the centuries of prayers, the wars fought in God's name, the empires blessed and cursed by papal decree. Every document stored there isn't just paper. It's a piece of the human condition, stained with ambition and faith, cruelty and hope. The Vatican Secret Archives are not just a collection of knowledge. They are the soul of civilization's greatest contradiction. That power and faith have always walked hand in hand. The walls of that archive echo with every excommunication, every absolution, every silent decision that altered the fate of nations. And yet they remain perfectly still. Perhaps that's the most haunting part, not what's inside, but the fact that we may never truly know. Because once you open a secret, it loses its power. Once the mystery is gone, so is the faith that binds millions together. So the Vatican keeps its silence. The keys remain in the hands of a few, and the rest of us are left outside, staring at those bronze doors, imagining what lies within. Maybe it's just old letters and forgotten parchment. Or maybe it's the true history of the world, our origin, our sins, our lost gods, preserved in the only place powerful enough to keep them hidden. In the end, the Vatican's secret archives are a mirror. They reflect our hunger for truth, our fear of it, and the timeless battle between belief and understanding. Because every civilization needs its mysteries, and some truths were never meant to be read, only whispered. The candle flickers, the echo fades, and the doors remain closed. For inside the Vatican, the greatest secret of all is silence. If you've made it this far into the shadows, you already know. History isn't just what's written, it's what's hidden. The Vatican Secret Archives are a reminder that truth can be both sacred and dangerous. But what if we dared to open more of those locked doors? What other secrets still sleep beneath the weight of centuries? If you want to keep exploring the forbidden corners of history, the untold stories, the buried truths, the mysteries the world wasn't meant to know, then stay with us. Subscribe to Unsolved History, and let's keep pulling back the veil together, because the past isn't dead, it's waiting, and it's whispering for those bold enough to listen.